can't do this. You just cannot do what they've done. Jarrod Bowen going in with a punch there. Jose parked the bus. He knows they need to improve massively. They are so far off it in terms of the defence. When they're confident, Liverpool, and they're really at it, they're a different team. Welcome to the Daily Digest, all you need to know in the world of football. We're going to start with West Ham's performance. We'll start with the performance and we'll get on to the more uglier scenes, but they are through to a Conference League final. And the first video on my feed here is David Moyes going over and really feeling the love for David Moyes from the fans, saluting him. European semi-final and European final under David Moyes, I think, is a great achievement. It kind of just shows him what he needs to do. He needs to bring in Premier League experience, players that can come in on a Sunday or just have enough in the squad, enough quality, enough decency, because I think they've brought some players in that haven't really worked, and I think if they are to improve, they just need to be able to get those points on the Sunday, because clearly Thursday, Sunday has killed them a little bit. Now, after the game, the AZ Alkmaar fans allegedly, and you can see videos of it, to be honest, attacked the family section of the West Ham travelling support, so the hospitality area where obviously the players' family and friends are. So ugly scenes, distressing scenes. I think you can see Mark Noble there, is it? Is that Mark Noble? No. Is it? It looks like him, but then it looked almost like a steward as well. No, it is Mark Noble, yeah. So families, Kevin Nolan there as well, yeah, families getting involved, distressed, Declan Rice telling his family to just get the hell away from that area. You can see there's clear distress. Jarrod Bowen going in with a punch there. So ugly scenes, but understandable from the players' point of view, I think. Look at the guys here. They're all masked. They've all got hoods on. They're all wearing similar ultra vibes, And I think they will definitely get some kind of stadium ban in European competition. And, they should. You can't do this. You just cannot do what they've done. Storming the section, and we see a video of it here. They're all wearing dark clothing. There's another video where the West Ham fans are basically protecting that family section, and this was obviously last night as I'm recording this. But back to the football for a moment, and it is another great night for David Moyes, and hopefully in the Premier League next season they can fix those issues, the playing on the Thursday, Sunday, by bringing in some quality recruits in the summer. Now, it was an absolutely fantastic performance from Newcastle, but apparently Eddie Howe said after the game that the players were actually kicking themselves because they thought that the standards could have been higher. I was watching it, and I just thought Callum Wilson, he's got to be in and around the England team. I think he is superb. 18 goals now this season, 0.9 per 90, which if you look at this table here, he's right up there. I mean, there's only one player really, if we look at actual games played, that is performing better than him, and it is Erling Haaland in the Premier League. You can see Harry Kane there, 36 games. Wilson has missed a few games. He's only played in 29 games. You've got Kane on 36 with a lower goals per 90. But Callum Wilson and Isak, the link-up now is really good, and Wilson as well has become a lot less selfish. I mean, that assist last night was brilliant, how he just sort of took the ball wide, drew the keeper out, turned, can't remember who the defender was, but they went on their arse anyway, and then he just found the pass and made it 4-1. And Brighton aren't the easiest team to beat 4-1, despite what Everton did recently, beating them 5-1. There is possibly a weakness there that those two teams have found. Whether that'll get patched up, so to speak, by Brighton as we go into next season, they'll be aware of that. Hopefully Brighton can still get into that European space. It'd be great for them to have a European adventure next year. One team that definitely will be with this victory is Newcastle, and what an amazing season they've had. Eddie Howe, if Pep Guardiola wins the treble, he will be manager of the year, no doubt about that. But Eddie Howe should be a very close second, in my opinion. In true Jose style, Roma have got into the Europa League final. Potentially a sixth European success awaits under Jose Mourinho. It would be the second under Jose Mourinho. I'm rooting for him, Xabi Alonso. It looks like they were very, very unlucky. If we look at the pressure monitor here on Odd Alerts, you can see that it is a sea of blue, which is the home team. But Roma defended very well. 23 shots for Bayer Leverkusen, just the 6 on target. Jose parked the bus. And you know what? He has got into another final, another European final. He got to the Carabao Cup final with Tottenham, didn't he? And they sacked him. They sacked Jose Mourinho before a final. Can you imagine being the person that does that and appointing Ryan Mason to just take charge against, I think it was Pep Guardiola, wasn't it, at Wembley? Ludicrous decision. I'm rooting for Jose. I miss him. I would love to see him back in England in some capacity. I think he's a great character for the game. So we'll run through these games quickly. We've got the probability model up. We can see Tottenham, 1.67 implied odds for the victory against Brentford. That's likely to be Harry Kane's last game, I think. I think he will move, depending on who the manager is. But if Pochettino goes to Chelsea, if he sees all these other clubs just building again and improving and, showing ambition, and Tottenham still kind of fall flat and don't really bring in the players that... Harry Kane isn't stupid. He knows they need to improve massively. They are so far off it in terms of the defence. Him, Son, Kulusevski up there, hardly getting the ball because they haven't got that midfielder that can really go box to box. Wolves against Everton. Wolves have been a bit flat in recent weeks when I've watched them. I think Everton have got obviously so much to play for. I could see a 1-1 draw in that one, or Everton just nicking it 2-1. Liverpool-Villa, let's have a look at that. I think this is going to be a game where the crowd can make the difference. There are 4 players for Liverpool playing their last games. Naby Keita's, I think, opinion is split on him because of how he acted about his transfer. He's clearly fallen out with Klopp over something. But the other 3, Firmino, obviously, James Milner and Oxlade-Chamberlain, they'll all be leaving at the end of the season. So this is their last home game. And I just think sometimes the atmosphere, stuff like that, it can play a massive role, especially at a place like Anfield. Coutinho's going to be there as well on the same pitch as Firmino. I think there's going to be a nice atmosphere. It could be an open game. But I think Liverpool will win this one quite comfortably, actually. I think when they're confident, Liverpool, and they're really at it, they're a different team. You know, that 7-0 against Man United, that's one of those days where everything clicks. And if the atmosphere is as such as I think it will be, then I think everything will click. And I think they could, they could maybe put 3 or 4 past Aston Villa, who have been in very good form, to be fair. Emery's done a fantastic job. I said in the other predictions video as well, I think Ollie Watkins is going to have a lot of joy in this game because there are gaps in that Liverpool defence, as we've seen, and he's been exploiting them against many teams in the Premier League this season. He's had a great season. Fulham Palace, bit of a London derby. Not much to say about this one. Palace are playing well at the minute. They're playing with real freedom. Fulham have got Mitrovic back, though, and Marco Silva nominated for Manager of the Year. Again, last home game. All these teams will want to give their fans a good send-off. So I think that adds a bit of a performance for some teams. Bournemouth against Manchester United. What a game for them to have as the final game of the season, potentially, if they can get something from this game, which I believe they can. I believe that they're absolutely within the rights to try and get a win or a draw against this Man United team, who haven't looked really that inspiring. They've scored some nice goals on the break recently. Garnacho coming on against Wolves, played well, but for the majority of that game, it was quite stale, it's quite slow. Rashford's been out, which is obviously a big blow. I'm not sure if he's going to be back, but Man United, they just want to get to that cup final now against Man City and have a chance to win the second cup of the season, which would be a fantastic first season for Erik ten Hag. I think it's been a good season. He's almost done task number 1, which was get into that top 4, get Champions League football. Because if you don't get Champions League football, then a player might choose to go to Newcastle, for example, over Manchester United. He might choose to go to Liverpool, for example, or wherever or whoever gets into that Champions League place instead of Manchester United. So it's important that they do get results now, because Liverpool will be right on their tails. And just on Liverpool, final word on Liverpool, I think it's amazing that they're even in this stage. I mean, Klopp has turned it around. I don't think he was ever in danger of losing his job, but there was times where, it just wasn't working. And he's tweaked things. He's put Trent in midfield. It seems to have worked. They're more creative. There's more energy in that midfield. Curtis Jones deserves massive credit for the way he's been playing in the past month or so. He's been really good. He's been what they've missing, and so is Trent in that middle. Bit of energy, bit of youth, bit of aggression, which has been missing for a lot of the season. I think one of the players that's going to be leaving after the season has ended, Oxlade-Chamberlain, I think Klopp will even tell you himself, and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain would as well, that he could have had a really, really good career at Liverpool. He's obviously had success with them, but his injuries have been too frequent. But there was times where you saw him playing in that midfield and you could see exactly what Klopp saw in him. That aggression, the ability to drive from defence to attack. And you're seeing it a bit with Trent now and Curtis Jones. And I think add another couple of midfielders into that mix, because you're going to lose Naby Keita as well. Then I think they'll be okay, Liverpool, because up top, they're as good as anybody. Nottingham Forest, Arsenal, second against 16th. Nottingham Forest, I think, the way they've been playing at home, they really are just picking up points at home. And Arsenal, after losing that game to Brighton, Gary Neville's talked about it a bit, hasn't he? The psychology of, when you've just given everything and it's you're demoralised. You've been shot at, it's gone. The title's gone. And the way that they came out after the Brighton game and Arteta basically admitting, and, whilst it's not mathematically secured yet, everybody knows how good City is. And all those Arsenal players now realise all the mistakes they've made. And I just think they'll want the season to end. I honestly do. So Forest, with that said, I think Forest will want to end the season on a high, and a victory here is not out of the realms of possibility, I don't think. Again, with it being the last game, it adds an extra 10-15%, and I think Forest, when those fans are at it, is one of the best grounds in the country. I've been there a few times with Blackpool. It is so loud, especially right before the game, and this is a 5:30 game on a Saturday. It's going to be absolutely bouncing. So that was the Daily Digest. I'm going to go back to posting stats and stuff on Twitter. If you're watching this in the early hours of Friday morning, and at 7 a.m., I'm going to be doing a Twitter Spaces, just going to see how it goes. Just jumping on, talking about football, doing some research. If you want to join, you can. And I'll try and make that a regular thing at the weekends, just this sort of video, but just live, just going over some of the key points for the weekend. So this video essentially is a dress rehearsal to just see what sort of topics are knocking about. If you've enjoyed this, leave a like, subscribe, whatever you need to do to make more people see it, because if more people see it, I will make more of them. If not, if people don't really care for it, then that's okay too. I'll just focus on different areas of the business.